In this video, I'm going to stop being a hypocrite. You see, I've spoken a lot on this channel about letting go of perfection, settling for good enough. Done is better than perfect. But you know what? I've not followed my own advice. I haven't really lived by this mantra. That's not to say that I think anything on my channel is perfect, far from it. But behind every single upload has been hours of agonizing over every single detail, the constant retakes, and even refilming whole videos because I just wasn't happy with the final product. Is this mentality that's going to hold me back? I need to be able to say, f it, let it go, and just post. The first step of that is to show you this next video. I filmed it more than 3 months ago when I had no more than 10 subscribers, and I've sat on it ever since. It's bullshit. So here it is, let me know what you think. In this video, I'm breaking down some of the common mistakes that new YouTubers make and what you can do to avoid them. Now look, I get it. There's so much conflicting advice out there, it's hard to know what to believe, but there's definitely some things that you should not do as it could lead to you burning out or slowing down your channel growth, or in the worst case scenario, get your channel banned from YouTube completely. Not taking action. YouTube is one of those things that you really learn by doing, and whilst researching and learning is important, nothing can replace that real world experience of actually making videos, reviewing what worked and didn't work, and making improvements. This process is going to move the needle much more in the early days than endless research. When you put in the reps, you're going to improve so much more quickly. By making bad videos, you're going to learn how to make better videos. Taking action on feedback from your audience or from watching your own videos and trying to make incremental improvements is what's really going to move you forward. If you keep on doing the same thing every time, you're only going to achieve the same results that you always have. These small changes and improvements are going to compound over time, and before you know it, you're going to be making better content than you ever thought you'd be capable of. Mistake is chasing the numbers. I recently made a video about what is your why. What's the reason that you're making YouTube videos, and what's the reason that you started your channel? By chasing the numbers, you lose sight of and possibly even kill your why. A real example of this is that you make a video on a random topic and it does much better than all of your other videos. So what do? You follow it up and you make a few more videos on this same subject. Before long, you've got people that are subscribed to your channel for this topic, even though you're not particularly interested in it. This can lead to burnout because you're making videos about something that you're just not passionate about. But what happens when this tails off and you try a different topic and that one blows up? Well, you change direction again and you're constantly chasing the views and the next big thing. Long term, this isn't sustainable as you're not doing what you really want to do and you don't really know what your why is anymore. Another example could be that someone in your niche makes a video that does really well. And even though it's not something that you're particularly interested in, you make a video on the same subject using a similar title and a similar thumbnail just because you think it's going to guarantee you views. And again, there's nothing really wrong with that as long as it's what you and your audience wants. Never ever forget your why. It's what's going to keep you going and keep you moving forward even when things get tough. That applies to everything in life, not just YouTube. Pulling the wrong audience. As much as it's the YouTube's algorithm's responsibility to find your audience, there's things that we can do that confuse it or make it harder for YouTube to find our tribe. The first one is telling your friends and family about your YouTube channel. Whilst I'm sure they're going to be supportive and they'll subscribe and maybe watch a little bit of some of your videos, unless they're really interested in your niche, the likelihood is that they're either not going to watch your videos in its entirety or they'll just stop watching altogether. And what the YouTube algorithm is going to do is start to recommend your videos to people who are like your friends and family, even though they may not be interested in your videos. This is likely to affect your stats, such as your click-through rate, your audience retention, and average view duration, which could mean that your videos stop getting recommended because the early signs do not indicate that this is a video that they should push. Sub for sub. There's a lot of Reddit groups and also Facebook groups that offer sub for sub, where you subscribe to someone's channel in exchange for them subscribing to yours. However, if they don't actually have an interest in your content, the likelihood is that they're not going to watch it. And subscribers not watching your videos is a negative sign for YouTube. Whilst it might boost your sub numbers, it does nothing for your engagement. And also, you lose credibility with your audience. Imagine you see a channel that's got 100,000 subscribers, but they only get 500 views per video. Buying subs. All of the things that we've discussed already, this is a really bad idea and is against YouTube's terms of service. The key takeaway is to build an audience that wants to watch your content and is really interested in your niche, obsessing over analytics. I couldn't tell you how many times a day that I check the YouTube Studio app. It's absolutely pointless because I just don't get many views. I'm not actually sure what I'm expecting to see. They say the definition of madness is doing the same thing every time, but expecting a different result. Checking your analytics doesn't help. It actually kills your motivation, because every time you open it up, you're expecting to see something good, but you see zero movement. Over time, this can discourage you from making more videos because you don't want to get that sinking feeling. And also, YouTube analytics breaks YouTube down to numbers. And whilst this is important as you get bigger, when you're small, it's really important to remember that there's a person behind every single number. There's a person who decided to click on and watch your video. YouTube analytics doesn't tell you who they are, why they clicked, what they thought of your video, or how you helped them. Focus on your audience and your output, and the rest is going to follow. Chasing perfection. It doesn't exist, and I've talked about this a few times before. You don't need the perfect idea, the perfect camera, or the perfect edit. Just press record and post. The first 20 videos are always going to be rough. This is your learning period, and that learning curve is really steep. I've got videos on this channel that I absolutely obsessed over and spent hours editing. And you know what? Some of them only got 5 views. Had I spent just 10 minutes talking to the camera and posted without editing, I probably would have achieved the same results in a fraction of the time. So the moral here, don't do what I do. Spending ages agonizing over the timing of my J-cut just doesn't make too much sense. Done is better than perfect. Spending money early on. Don't spend $1,000 on a new camera if you haven't made 10 videos and if you're not even sure that you enjoy making videos. Don't spend money on expensive editing software if you're not even sure what your channel is going to be about. Start with what you have and upgrade later once you have traction and confidence. But I have been self-employed before, and sometimes you do need to invest in order to build the business and to move it forward. Perhaps the same goes for YouTube. If you are going to invest in the things that make the most sense, such as lighting and audio. The truth is, I don't yet know if I'm confident enough in my ability to get any real traction on YouTube. And I really need that confidence to be able to make a smart investment. So for now, I'm just going to use and make do with what I have. Hopefully the time will come quite soon where I do have that confidence and I can start to invest in building this business. No clear niche. So if you're making videos about cooking, football, gaming, and you do vlogs, YouTube doesn't know who to recommend your videos to. And also, your audience doesn't really know what you're about and what they should tune into you for. Having said that, there are a number of YouTube channels that have done pretty well by not really having a strict niche and just making videos about things that they're passionate about. Unfortunately, that's just not the case for most of us. Everyone uses the analogy of a sushi restaurant that's known for making really great sushi. Everyone goes there because they know they're going to get the freshest and the tastiest sushi, and they know what to expect in terms of the standard and the quality. Now imagine that same restaurant does sushi, hot dogs, burgers, and fried chicken. You might think, well, it's okay because there's something for everyone. But actually it does the opposite. It confuses the customer because they don't know what they're going to come to you for, and it creates the perception that the sushi is not as good. The same goes with YouTube. You might be an absolute authority on football history, but if you're also making content on celebrity news, you're not going to be taken seriously. The best strategy seems to be to build your audience first, who subscribe for you, before branching out later. So how do you choose your niche? It could be looking at what you're good at, what you know, and what you're passionate about. I've used a system called Ikigai, which broadly translates to the reason to live. It makes you look at what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. It's really interesting, and it can really help you pin down what your channel is going to be about. Not spending enough time on thumbnail and title. Now this is something as a newbie that can be really hard to figure out. So you can have the best video on the planet, but if no one clicks on it, it's not going to get watched. YouTube is a click-first platform, so we do need to spend time up front working on the title and the thumbnail. With TikTok or Insta, videos are just thrust in front of the viewers. YouTube is much more deliberate. Your title and thumbnail in combination are what creates a promise of your idea. It lets your viewer know what they should expect from the video. I've heard a few YouTubers, including Drew Binsky, talk about how he actually writes the title and the thumbnail first before even making a video, and talks about spending as much as 30% of his time working on thumbnail design because it's just that important. As much as I do understand that it makes sense to create a thumbnail and a title before you even make the video, what I found personally difficult is that sometimes throughout the filming process, I go in a slightly different direction, which makes the thumbnail and the title somewhat redundant. So I have to redo it anyway. However, I'm talking about from a new creative perspective. Obviously, once we get bigger, maybe that's going to be a lot easier to do once there's more structure and I know exactly how to format and structure my videos correctly. Talking too much about yourself. This one's harsh, but kind of important. Your viewers, when they click on your video, are thinking, what's in it for me? What am I going to get out of this video? Early on, it's not really about your journey, it's about the value you're going to bring. Now, I'm guilty of this, and I have made a couple of videos that are maybe a little bit self-indulgent and focused on me. But it's not about me, it's about what the viewers actually want to see. Teach your viewers something, entertain them, then slowly over time, weave elements of your story in. As an example, if I made a video about why I started a YouTube channel, it might be relevant for some people, but I do need to make it about the viewer rather than myself. So instead of making a video why I started a YouTube channel, I could make the video how to start a YouTube channel as an introvert, and then use my personal stories and experience to emphasize my points and how someone can overcome their insecurities and successfully start. Giving up too soon. Most creators quit before their channel has had a chance to take off. Did you know that the average career length of a content creator is only 3 months? YouTube isn't a sprint, it's a long, lonely, and incredibly frustrating marathon. The creators who did make it, all of the biggest creators today, they're the ones who didn't quit, didn't give up, evolved and improved over time. Check out the first videos of all of the YouTubers that you watch. They weren't great off the bat. In fact, some of them were downright bad, but they kept going and they kept improving. For some, it took years to succeed. Am I going to sit here and say that if you don't give up and you do X, Y, and Z, that you're definitely going to make a full-time living from YouTube? No. But if you take an example, somebody like Roberto Blake, who's been doing YouTube for about 15 years and has never gone viral, he's now in a position where YouTube is just part of a portfolio of things that he does to make money online. And all of that started with his YouTube channel. Starting YouTube is hard. It's much harder than people make it look. But if you avoid these common tracks, keep on improving and stay consistent, you're going to get better. You will find your voice and you will find your audience. YouTube's going to help you do that. In the comments below, let me know the biggest mistake that you've made in your YouTube journey so far. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.